Okay, as promised, I would do a follow-up on the North Face assault tent. A little bit of background. This thing is 11 years old. I owned it 5 years before I ever used it. It leaked so bad, and I put it away. The instructions warned that the taping that's inside the tent along the floor and the wall is not compatible with both materials. And it said to seal the seams, which I did, and the camera will not pick this up. So I've been all over the tent and sealed the seams. The instructions said to seal inside this guy line anchor here. There's taping, and I sealed that as the instructions said. A little bit about the design. Last night, okay, rained all night. It wasn't a hard driving, noisy rain, but it did rain all night. The design of the door, because of the slope, when you open the door, all the rain that falls between the bottom of the floor, the bottom of the tent right there, and the top of the door can go in the tent. That's a little glitch. So anyways, through it all, last night rained all night, and we may get rained on right now. The tent did not leak. However, inside the tent where I had ironed the taping that's inside that we can't see, I had ironed it with a hot iron and made it glue to that floor material a little better. I went around the tent. It's okay, but it's not great. It didn't do well in the corners. And we're going to take a look inside the tent here, and another. Okay. Oops. And as I just opened the door, water just fell in the tent. Okay. I don't know if the camera can focus on that taping. Maybe a little. Okay. Get the camera down there. I'm going to zoom in there. That's probably a good spot. You may see a little bit of the taping that's a little bit raveled up. You could probably grab that seam tape and pull it loose if you wanted to. Of course, to the back you see it's raveled a little more. However, though, the outside of the tent I've sealed all the seams with seam grip as instructed with the directions I got with the tent. Okay. And for the record, last night rained all night. I didn't notice that the floor leaked anywhere, with the floor material. And so basically the tent stayed dry other than opening the door and the water falls in, which just happened. And so in a nutshell, that's my follow-up on the North Face assault tent. And I'm going to walk around with the camera a little bit. I'm going to unzoom, and what I'm looking for, a little bit more about the tent. The pole sleeves are, of course, very shallow. Not the easiest to get the poles through, and I don't know if the camera can see a little bit of the seam grip right here. As you can see, it did not glue well to that black fabric, but it was okay. I'm sure that down in there it did seal. Okay, back up a little bit. Back to the doggy door. As the design goes, the slope of the doggy door, you could also open the doggy door and get some rain inside the tent. Let's stroll around here. And something else noteworthy is that, see if I can get over there and, okay. It's bug season, and where you see the zippers, and I get all the way around, and where one zipper bumps into the other, we won't talk about zipper performance. Okay. You have to make very sure those zippers are bumped tight, because bugs will find a way in, particularly small bugs like the mosquitoes. I only had one tick get in the tent. Who knows if it was there already, so I don't know. But anyways, that's the follow-up. It worked just fine. However, realistically, I don't think this tent's going to go on a backpacking trip where I expect to see some rain. I think I'll keep it mostly for better weather and winter use. Even though I've sealed all the seams, I just don't see that the tent is gonna have the performance that we need for a good hard driving rain. So anyways, folks, that is my wrap up. Pardon this tripod squeak. That's my follow-up I mentioned in the first video. That's the North Face Assault tent. I made the upgrades as the instructions say. It took at least 2 tubes of seam grip. I think I was into about $14 to get the tent all sealed up. And as I say, it did work well. However, it's not something I would trust on a backpacking trip. I don't know about flexing all the seams and the tape, you know, packing the thing and packing it on a pack. But anyways, there it is. I followed the instructions. The tent's sealed up. It worked well. And my note, as I mentioned in the first video, for the price of one of these tents, it was $300+. It should have been ready to go. You shouldn't have had to do any preparation to make an expedition tent ready to go. It certainly wasn't ready for any expedition. Okay, folks, and that is my follow-up of the North Face Assault tent. I hope the info helped. And I hate to mention the brand names. Of all the seam sealers I've ever used, I want to say that Seam Grip is the best one I've ever used. Some of the others, I would notice after a good hard rain, I would see that it would look a little white, like it has softened. Another note, let me see if the camera's, okay. This storm flap has a cord in it, an elastic bungee kind of a cord, and to keep that storm flap over top of the zipper, it must be snapped at the bottom, and it's actually, and so I left one unsnapped, and in the morning I had a little bit of water because the storm flap was pulled up by the bungee. And so that's one more detail to remember if you use the tent. If you forget, that bungee will pull. I don't know if you can see the black zipper, and that's what happened when I moved in the tent. Moved it in the tent, it moved the storm flap away from the zipper, and I got a little bit of water in the tent. Other than that, the tent's fairly user-friendly. And focus again. And It's fairly user-friendly. It's a two-man tent. I would really treat it as a one-man tent. And so I'm going to take a quick walk around and just see if there's anything noteworthy. The structure of the tent, the poles are in the pole sleeves, and you see the things sitting up nice and straight. You'll see bits of pine bark all over the tent that the rain brought down. Okay. Okay. Okay, and then again, folks, thank you from Lat 44 Outdoor. That's the follow-up on the North Face assault tent.